Okay, good. We're live. I think I was sharing this with my class the other day because I've had this for quite a long time. It was a very big deal to buy it. It's one of those little special things. And then, through time, I gave some to my kids, different sayings, but basically it's amazing to me that I still have it. I'm here in Mexico. I barely kept anything of my life. And it sits up there and it jumped off the other day. So it's underneath my computer creating that energy that if you believe it, you can do it. So for some reason that jumped in as one of our guides today. Welcome everybody. Akasha here, Nana Akasha. Give me 1 second. I'm going to have a little cough. Okay, thank you. Hi, Sonia. Oh my God, look at this. I can't believe it. Grace is here while she's driving to Vermont. Hi, Gracie. And hi, Britt. And hi, Deb. And hi, Iritag. I'm so happy you're all here with me. So I don't know what's going on in your life, but in mine, I mean, I do. Many of you are my students here. However, wow. Okay. Snake year. Let's make it happen, right? We've had the most amazing 6 months, right? 5 months, 6 months of this year, snake year, intense transformational experiences. We're in the middle of a decade of the grand transformation. And one of the things that the wisdom keepers that I'm working with now, both in body and in spirit, are really emphasizing, which we talk about, but I think it bears repeating because we're getting used to this, is that this time will not last. This is a massive time of opportunity. So let's all dive in and see what that means. I'm having a massive light body transformation. So an ascension experience. We used to call it light body sickness. I think people call it ascension sickness sometimes. And it's reminding me of the very first time I had this experience, which was a ridiculous long time ago. I had done a lot of deep spiritual work and meditation and things. And then I found my first mystery school, which is the Melchizedek method. So I'm a Melchizedek master, a Kamadan master, and a Gaidan master in the Egyptian mystery schools. And the Melchizedek stuff came to me. I did level 1, I did level 2, and I did level 3 in about 2 months. And what that means is basically like going from the bottom of the ocean to the top of a mountain in 2 months or in 10 minutes without altitude adjustment. Nausea, dizziness, disorientation, very difficult for the body to balance. At that time, literally, just so you know, your brain grows. Okay. Your brain actually grows and changes shape and form. And I have headaches now, and I have nausea and dizziness and all kinds of stuff for about 3 days now. It's quite amazing. And I'm not worried about it. I'm not upset. A beautiful friend was here today and she said, "Did you go to the doctor?" And I thought, oh my God, the Western world, we're just so addicted to the doctors, and there's nothing wrong with it, but hello. Okay. Go deeper. So I know that this is a very, very honored experience. So if you are experiencing light body sickness, I probably should do a show on it because there's so many different symptoms that helps you understand what you're experiencing, because it's an upgrade. So there's all this interesting lights here. This part of my eye can see like other energies right now. So you start to be multidimensional. I'm kind of multidimensional anyway. I work and walk and in all different realms all day long, and you may as well. This is like an upgrade. So everything I've done, which has been massive, deep spiritual work, work with you guys, and then personal, right? Are you putting yourself out there? Are you doing something new? Are you listening to your heart? Are you starting a business? Are you putting on an event? Are you writing a book? Are you thinking about moving to another country? Like, what is it in your life that's rising up that you are now either feeling that it's time to step into, or You are stepping into it. And I want to invite you to think of yourself in a different way. Change that inner self image, because what I have done much of my life is that I would go for what I wanted and I'd create it. But I was carrying this whole identity inside of me that, like, oh, well, maybe they won't like me and maybe it won't work. And what if it's not successful? And so I was there, but I wanted to be somewhere else and I was trying to run away. And I have a lot of lives of torture, condemnation, burned at the stake, and all of that. So condemned and persecution and retribution. Fears can show up in a lot of different ways. They don't have to be like severe trauma, PTSD, you can't leave the house. They can be that you keep working really hard for a long time, but you don't get the success you want because there's a deeper inner code, right? A belief that you have given power to say this is true, because all your decisions come from you. All your reality comes from you. And the deeper you go into that truth, which we go into our Wishes Fulfilled class, right, guys, is that incredible revelation when you actually change and peel back some of these conditioned mindsets, beliefs. It doesn't take a lot of time to manifest. It doesn't take a lot of time to do anything. So we're going to dive into the Oracle deck today. Thank you for joining me. And please make sure that you join the class. Now, if you haven't joined the class yet, it's on sale again. Because they keep coming back and telling me, like, we've been working with the printers for many months now, and that is all coming to fruition in about a month. So we're going to do a class. Now, this is not a how to use an Oracle deck 101. Okay. This is deep shit. I did an interview the other day with a beautiful sound healer, and she's asking me about sound healing and how I use sound healing. And if you've been to my retreats, you know that I'm actually a really big sound healer. You can see I got crystal bowls and drums and rattles and whistles and you name it. So I am going to get to do that with you virtually now, because I'm finally getting the correct equipment and the correct setup for you to be able to hear it. So anyway, though, she looked at me while I was explaining, oh, well, here's what I do, and here's some things you can do. And she just went like this, and she goes, wow, we were talking about sound healing 101. You're talking about sound healing level 10. And yeah. Because for me, let's just go right into it, right? Let's just get there right now. So in this class, it's basically an intuition awakening class. It's an empowerment class, because divination is our natural state. We're supposed to receive information from all the different realms, from the moon, the sun, the stars, the wind, the air, the incense burning over here, the beautiful goddesses that we call in, whatever it is. There's energies available to us, medicine, magic medicine, not pills, healing energies, wisdom, knowledge, energy. Imagine, you could probably think about a moment in your life when you were told something, or you realized something, or you suddenly saw something from a different perspective because you changed your state of consciousness, right? You changed your state on the scale, and suddenly you were like, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal. Or why am I upset about that? Or, oh, there's a solution for that. Because the solutions are already there. They can't not be there. So we were taught to rush, push, chase, that we're not good enough and all this other crap. And we're peeling that away now, and we're seeing the world break down. That's what's supposed to happen. So as crazy as it is, please get some water. Please prepare, like, be aware that water is very important right now. Being near water, having fresh water. Ooh, it's 11:11. And the purity of water. Talk to water, the wisdom in water, the codes in water. Program your water. So we'll dive in now, but I want to share my mug today is Uxmal. And Uxmal, that's how you say Uxmal. This is a sacred feminine pyramid. This is the pyramid of the moon. It's the pyramid of the mother. And it's my beloved. Whenever I go there, oh my goodness, I literally start feeling my heartbeat, and I call it just automatically my entire energy rises up and goes, my beloved, my beloved, my beloved. And I'm drawn, like a romance, right? So, oh my goodness, I think I'm doing the wrong show. I'm doing the show for tomorrow. Okay, we aren't going to do the Oracle deck. We're going to talk to Guinevere. Oh my goodness, that is so funny. Thank you. So Guinevere is standing here, and she's like, dude, what's going on? I was just writing the email about the show tomorrow. So come back tomorrow for the Oracle deck. Thank you so much. Okay. So now, oh my goodness, this is hysterical. I have to tell you that, I told you I'm feeling a little, whoa, so clearly that's going on. Okay. Let's switch gears. That's so good. I love that. So anyway, we still are here with our sacred, beautiful people. Okay. Oh my goodness, this is so funny. I have been so excited to share Guinevere with you that okay, there we go. And that I can't believe I showed up and I'm talking about something else. So it tells you it's like having an ascension experience, which you could be having even if you're at work or driving. You don't have to be on a mountaintop, okay? It doesn't take 30 years of meditating and starving yourself to reach a high state of consciousness. You can do it in 4 minutes with the correct wisdom, with the correct wise elder. They can tap your pineal and whoop, you're like, whoa, blissed out. So everything can be much faster than you think. All right, good. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to go back and just say hi. Oh, thank you. These are very old. They're from my first trip to Egypt. One is Isis and one is the Ankh. And of course, I had 2 of each, but I like to wear them like that. I don't know. The earrings just come out and ask me. Life is exciting. I love you too, Brittany. Oh my goodness. Hello, Lisa. Oh my goodness. Lisa, you are like the brightest light, and you just lit up my world and our classes and everything last year. And I'm so happy to see you, because I know you've been with us this year, but you've been like many people going through a lot of difficult things. And it's so nice to see you like kind of expressing again, because you are an incredible light, right? Incredible light. Okay, good. So reorienting here. All right, let's see what we can do to get me on track here. I know wow, I know you're there. Just give me a minute. All right, so first, since I'm, oh my goodness me, I want to share the retreat. So I know many people are like, oh my gosh, I want to go, but I can't. And all the different reasons. You're busy, you've got family, you've got dogs, you've got cats, you've got money expenses, you've got whatever. Okay. I say this and I want to reiterate this because it's more true than ever before. Not only is this a moment in time that won't exist in general that we're in, but this moment in time and this particular retreat. And they're all that way because they all happen at a different time, right? This is just stunning to me how the universe kept doing this and bringing pieces together. So please reach out to me. I'm also going to be doing a class on the 8th. So if you subscribe to my channel and you subscribe to the channel, please subscribe to my channel. However, below is my website if you're not on my website yet, and subscribe there so that you know what we're doing. So we are going to, on the 8th, we're going to do a special class, and we've got it all designed. I don't know if we've shared it with anybody yet, but it is about an empowering yourself to manifest your dreams for things like this. So if you have any questions or fears, reach out to me, because I don't push anybody. I don't force anybody. However, if Spirit tells me this is so optimal for you, I want you to know, and I want you to know that you have help coming. Okay. So it's the full moon. It's also the full moon eclipse, and it's the high moon, which if you watch the shows I've done already with Maria Wheatley right down here, I highly recommend that you listen to them, even if you're not coming. It's just mind-blowing stuff that this woman knows. We're going private access to Stonehenge. We're going in the way that the goddesses did. It was a goddess temple. She knows where the goddess temple was, where the stones are that heal, when to stand here, what's happening at the full moon, which energies are coming out of the earth. The earth is emitting energies. That's why these things are built there. So we're going to go. And she talks about how this is the high moon. The moon has a cycle, right? It goes all the way this way and all the way that way. And if you're into astrology, well, we're all the way at a peak. And that in and of itself, outside of being a full moon, has its own rare energy. So we're talking about ancient queens, ancient wisdom, ancient women, stones, embedded things. And your body, your bones are like the stones. They carry memories, and you need to bring those codes here. They need to activate you. You're going to help heal the world. You're going to have this incredible portal. We're going to be doing high moon magic with a druid goddess. This woman is not only brilliant with all of her wisdom and dowsing experience and her incredible reputation, but she is a goddess girl. She's my goddess girlfriend. So I really would like you to come on over. This is the retreat here. We've got the page pretty much fixed now, and you can see a little bit more about it. We're going to be going to this Venus. We're having this beautiful man give us a private tour of the encoded Venus pentagram in this church. Okay. It's just goddess, goddess, goddess. Okay. We're going to go inside of this long barrow. It's a womb-like long barrow. It is where ancient queens were found. It was originally a healing temple, and we're going to be doing our sound healing. So we're going to be there with them. We're going to be bringing the goddess with. We're going to talk to her. We're going to give her a voice. You're going to change. Everything's going to change in your whole life. I can promise you. Crystals. This is a pink crystal stone, concentric circles. So we've got all the information here. Here's me and Maria last year at some of the sites. And then you can also come to the part which is actually before now. The dates have changed a little bit. From the 1st to the 4th, I'm doing a retreat in Glastonbury, and then we go on the stones because they kept rearranging things. So we're going to be going to the wells and to Mary Magdalene Chapel and to the heart chakra and to Guinevere's to the chakras in the earth, in the abbey, and where she's buried with King Arthur, which is at the heart chakra, and Avalon is the heart chakra. So that's really what we're going to be really talking about today, is this part of the retreat. So you can come to either one or both. I highly recommend you come to both, because the first one, we're going to be doing this sacred work in Glastonbury. I have the goddess house for us to do healings in. We've got private access to the springs, and all these different beautiful energies are coming together. So what happened? Guinevere kept talking to me last year and this year, and now Mary Magdalene and Eve and Morgana. Why? Because these are all women in our history, in our mind, in our bones and in our blood, that have been, like almost every woman in history, their truth has been erased. It's been misunderstood. It's been blamed. It's been maligned. And the stories about Guinevere are really interesting, how they run that gamut, and how she had these two aspects to her of being the innocent, then being the adulteress, which didn't happen, and the true love aspect. So what I want to do today is give Guinevere an opportunity to share. So this has all the different information for you, and it is on sale. So please come and with us. All right, good. Now I need this one, don't I? Okay, we're getting ourselves oriented here. Thank you for giving me a moment to be in a body. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got this, and we need this. What do we need? We need this one. Okay. So what is very interesting is that we have in this moment women rising. We have the Dalai Lama saying that the world will be saved by the Western woman. We have the rising of women's voices. It's been happening on and off for a long time, trying to reclaim the vote and reclaim equal pay and reclaim this and reclaim that. And we've had minor successes. I can't say I'm overwhelmed with it, but it's better than it used to be. If you watch something from the 70s, every woman is on there describing themselves as a wife. Hi, who are you? I'm a wife with 2 kids, and isn't it great? Like that's their entire identity in some way. So this is the moment of the wise ones rising and gathering, especially the women. So we have to be the ones to raise the sacred feminine. We have to be the ones to reclaim our voice as a sovereign ruler of our life, because we are divine and we are human and we are in a body, and we're the only ones that get to decide what happens in our life. So you can say, well, it's not my fault. I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about that. Don't go try to do anything about it outside of you. Go inside and change it, because you and I have been raised in a culture, most likely, that said, in general, believed women to be less than. Maybe you even grew up when you were told you could be a secretary or a nurse, and those were your options. maybe you went through that and then you had a big awakening. You know, I was so enamored in the 70s of being the everything woman, and what a trap that was, right? I can stir up the bacon and fry it in a pan and bring home the money and do this and do that and be sexy and be everything, and I'm just going to kill myself and sacrifice and do all this stuff to just be everything. But it was so exciting to be told you could be everything, right? It was so exciting at that time to think, wow, I can be this and I can be that. I don't have to be a dowdy old woman, or I can be, smart and have a business, or make good money, or be respected in my job, and I can still be feminine, and I can still be sexy, and I can be loving, and I can be this, and I can be that. So we've had these phases, but right now the phase is everything fall apart. So what you want to do is look at the parts of you that still believe, okay, and they might be very deep in the subconscious. So just keep giving them permission, that say, I am not sovereign. I am not independent. I am not in charge of my reality, because it's not true. Now, sovereign's a word that's become popular, so I'm using it now. However, what does it mean to be sovereign? Well, you're regal, you're a ruler, and it's not like a ruler over people in our patriarchal, masculine, violent world that we've been raised in and that we've been given the history of. Because you realize that the history books, all they told us was memorize this war and this dude who killed that dude, and then think this guy is great because he decided to kill people in a different way in this war. And seriously, hello. So we have to wake up now. We have to get real. We have to go, okay, don't follow the matrix. Don't listen to everything you were told. Most of it wasn't true. It was told to you by people who were just passing on stuff, or who wanted to fit in the system, or didn't have an independent thought. You have an independent thought. You are an awakening woman. I keep getting this vision of writing a book called The Awakening Woman's Manual, or something like that, or workbook, for these principles of like, how the hell do you transfer? How do you, manage this moment when we are, there's a good one, when we are totally shedding what we thought was real. And as you shed that, what happens next? Realities you didn't believe could happen. What if it didn't take you 40 years to reach enlightenment, to go to a place of bliss, to talk to your spirit guides, to hear your higher self, to believe in yourself, to make money, to be successful, to find your love? It doesn't take all that time. Time doesn't exist. That's within us. So being regal, being royal, being sovereign means ruling your mind, being the only ruler of your mind, of your reality, of your body. So take a look, where you have these ideas that you can't have what you wish for because someone else controls the money or someone else controls your time. Where are you giving up your wishes or your dreams to fit into everybody else's decision of what life should be like? That is not what a ruler does. That is not what a queen does. That is not what somebody does who says, okay, I'm here. I'm in charge. What do I want to do? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Okay, now I'm seeing things. Hi. Wow. Hello. There's like a wispy spirit being right here. Woo. Hello. Okay. Feels good. Feels okay. We're all good. Wow. So what happens when you decide this? Well, shit falls apart, right? Your life can fall apart in a lot of ways. It's not bad. Got to happen. But of course, you're going to see yourself differently. You're going to see your choices differently. You're going to see what you're doing, where you live, and why am I doing this? Why do I think this way? I'm thinking this way now. And you get a chance to really unhook, right? You get a chance to unhook from what's happened for your life. And since things have started changing, because most of you are having really deep awakenings. I know my students are. I know all of you guys are. I thought it was super interesting that we had, I'm trying to get this other, here we go. This morning, one of my students in the Wishes Fulfilled group sent a text. And I thought it was so profound. It was such a good realization about what happens right now. And it was really about that idea that what happens when you have a moment and you realize, wow, everything I was taught isn't true. Does it mean you should be upset? Sometimes people get upset, right? That's okay. Does it mean that I should worry about fixing everybody else? Does it mean that you are being the princess and you're waiting for, were you raised like that? Like, okay, we'll fix everything for you. And are you feeling entitled and then mad because everybody's not doing that? Or do you feel frustrated and trapped because you've been pinned into a very small identity? I've had so many past life experiences with my clients and myself, but in the deep sessions. And I should mention that I've privately, I mean, it's on the shop, but in the shop, I put I've put a new sale up, and what it is the soul lineage sessions. And I made a 3-pack, and that's just what Spirit told me to do. So if any of you feel like you want to deep dive into 3 sessions, we go wherever you want. It's going to be multidimensional. It's going to be talking to your guides. It's going to be going into what is optimal to you. This is deep, deep, deep transformational stuff. And you're going to discover more about who you are and your lineages and that. So check that out. So now what happens is that I've had these women had these lives that they remembered where they were it's so vivid, it's coming in my head right now, so I'm going to share it. Is this woman was this beautiful girl. Like when I first saw her, she was this gorgeous blonde girl, and she's all dressed up, and it's like 1600s in France, and she's in a royal family or a very, very wealthy noble family. She's in this huge, castle, chateau thing. She's got this very gorgeous, glamorous dress, it's all satin and bows, and her hair's all done up perfect, but she's kind of sitting like this, right? And she was like, oh, you're wonderful. Just stay over there and don't talk. Oh, you're beautiful. We love you. So she didn't have any stress. She didn't have to make money. Everything was provided for her. She lived in a beautiful home. She had beautiful clothes. She had servants that took care of her. There was nothing that she wanted. And a lot of people right now are like, oh, the big achievement, the big success in the world is making money. That's all it is. Once I have money, once I have a big house, once I have a big job, now I'm successful. It's not true. I just want to let you know, go get some money. Great. I love money. It's great to play with, but it is not the success you're looking for, and it's kind of a long path getting there. So what happened? Why did we go to that life? Why was that life speaking to her? Because she was frustrated. She was not given freedom of expression. She was not seen with respect. She was not sovereign. Here she had all the things that we think are perfect, but she was not seen or respected for being an individual. She couldn't create. She couldn't express. She couldn't go out in the world. And she was literally confined to the house or the garden almost her whole life. So these are different things that are inside of us. All right. And what does that mean? I mean, I don't remember if she was a princess or a queen. She was definitely from a noble family. We're not talking about any of that kind of queen. We're talking about being the authority within you, deciding that you're the only thinker in your mind. You're the only person within you who can think, feel, decide, and choose what you think. You can change what you believe. May not seem like it's easy, but it will change. And you are the only one who can change it, which is why I do my classes and everything, is to help you find that center and communicate with yourself and be the authority within yourself. So this is what has happened to women. They were either confined to certain roles, be a nurse, be a secretary, be a mom, be a cook, be a cleaner, be a slave, right? Be a concubine or a prostitute or something else. And don't use your sacred powers. Don't use your wisdom. Don't use your intuitive powers. Definitely don't be doing any healing and magic, because you notice, if you understand some of the history, the horrible history of killing women for certain reasons, is that if you healed somebody with some nice herbs or a nice tea or a little energy work or a hug or something, you might, depending where you lived and when, you might have been accused of doing something evil. Witchcraft. Oh my God. We've so demonized that word. Magic, imagination, witch. All that means is wise woman. It's a woman who knows energies. Magic means that you understand the laws of the universe and physics, and that you can change them, that you can use them, that you can co-create with them. There's no evil. Now, you can do evil with anything. I could pick up this pen and kill somebody with it. You could pick up this pen and write a novel that changes everybody's lives. Everything is that way. So let's see. I'm just so excited about this. Help coming soothed my nervous system. Whoa. Oh, nice. Yes. I'm glad you said that, Brittany, because another aspect of this is that we have the rescue syndrome, the princess getting rescued in the tower. And this is what happened to Guinevere. Guinevere is a priestess of Isis. Guinevere was trained in the sacred arts of the goddess in Avalon. And even though she came in through a more traditional way, because she was paired up to marry Arthur, this is another thing that's happened to women in the past, right? Arranged marriages. You don't get to pick who you love, pick what you do, pick what you love. Now you're on the verge of choice. You're on the verge of reclaiming choice. I don't think we understand how powerful that is because we've never felt we had it. When you realize that you can choose and that it'll completely change how you experience life, what shows up for you, what people say, who's there, how much money you make, everything else, everything. So what happened to Guinevere was she was brought in more traditionally through the nuns, right? And I have a thing about the nuns. No, I have some very bad lives with that. However, I also have deep respect, and I've had clients who told me their favorite past life was at a nunnery. And I just went, what? And they were like, oh my God, it was so peaceful. I was separate from the world. I didn't have to deal with death, drama, marriage, men, cleaning, whatever. Like, of course you clean. I just got to garden and meditate and sing songs all day inside of a sacred environment where nobody came in and attacked us. Well, I can see the benefit of that. There's women in our past that became concubines, that became prostitutes, that became escorts, that became mistresses. And we really, really judge that idea in our current society. However, if you understand the time that they lived in, they had privileges women didn't have. Women weren't allowed to go to school, to go to libraries, to read books, to learn anything. They were intentionally kept down. And the same thing's true now. It's not as bad. We have the illusion that they are teaching us something. And that's true for everybody, the illusion, because the schools in America anyway, they're completely useless. Okay. They're teaching science that's so friggin' old. I don't know what they expect these people to do. They're teaching math that's outdated. They're teaching history that's wrong. And we know it's wrong, but they're like, well, we have the books. We got to keep teaching it. This guy wrote the book and he's so important. Screw that guy. That's my opinion. All these people who are like, oh, I'm important because I wrote a book 40 years ago and it has to be the chemistry book. No, it doesn't. The scholars and the archaeologists need to get the hell out of the way because they are slowing down our ascension process. They are going, we have to prove it with our science. It's like ignorant people trying to figure out what an intelligent, wise person is doing. You can't because you're ignorant. Right? So when you were a concubine, let's say in Venice, in the 1600s or the 1400s, you had a gorgeous life. You might have lived with a very rich person. You had access to libraries. You could go to meetings with all the important men. You were one of the few women allowed in there other than the women who were serving them. Would you rather be the woman serving the drinks to the dudes in the big library, talking about important things, reading the books, learning the wisdom? Or would you rather be the woman who's there getting to learn? Well, there's all these ideas around it. And no, I don't think we should have to sell our body in order to get wisdom, right? So we are taking those paradigms that have been in our culture and have been, and unfortunately still happening, I'm sorry, but there's places in the world where women live somewhere where they know their only option is going to be either be raped or to sell their body for $2 a time to survive. And I'm sorry, that's just true. And it's not nice, but don't get caught up in that, right? Because if you're the one creating your reality, if you're your own authority, then you become the sovereign queen that gets to decide the reality that you live in. What is your kingdom? What is your queendom? What is your reality? What is your world? Well, if you're the regal authority, if you're the only thinker in your head, if you're the divine essence from source, within this body that is choosing. Yes, you came with programs, you came with fears, you came with vows, you came into a family that taught you a certain thing. We all have that. Okay, let's get over it. It's done. Stop blaming your family. Stop giving people in your life extra, excuses for the way they're acting because they had a hard life. Shit, honey, we all had a hard life. We all are having a hard life. That's the friggin' point of coming to Earth. If you're in a 3D body, you're going to have pain, you're going to have suffering, you're going to have ups and downs, you're going to have dizziness, you're going to have all this shit, okay? It's not an excuse. Nobody on this planet anymore has an excuse to abuse other people, to use their own trauma and to use their own fear to say, oh, well, you should act this way for me. No. So if you're the queen, do you have to be like this? No, you can be a beneficial queen. You can be very elegant. You can be calm. What kind of queen do you want to be? What kind of a ruler do you want to be of your own reality? Do you want to love yourself? Do you want to see yourself? Do you want to support yourself? Or do you want to judge yourself? Do you want to think you're not good enough? Or do you want to think, of course I'm good enough and everything I need is here and the support is here? What is another thing about a sovereign queen? Well, being a queen, a king, a ruler, whatever, we're talking about that idea of embodying that I am the authority of my life. There is no authority above me. There's no God outside of you, okay? The ancients didn't believe in God. They didn't believe in gods. They weren't polytheistic. That is all of the Western European mindset, conquering other cultures and misinterpreting because of the Christian idea of God. And the Christian idea of God is some evil, mean guy outside of you, judging you and sending pests to kill you and I don't know what else, okay? They didn't believe in God. They believed in one source energy that was the essence of all life and that it was inside of everything. So they honored, revered, and respected every single thing. This pen has source in it. This bell has source in it. This beautiful cacao has source energy in it. The cacao seed, the water that went into it has a memory. Everything is divine and full of essence. And that energy inside of me opens my heart. So what do I get to choose as the beneficial ruler of my reality? I get to choose what I eat, what I drink, what I feed my mind, who I spend time with, where I live. Do you live in a toxic environment? Is it toxic because the air sucks? The water sucks? It's noisy? There's people who are violent. There's people yelling at you all day. There's people in your house watching the news. You can't put up with it anymore. Now, this isn't permission to go tell everybody what to do. Okay. When you're the sovereign ruler, this is my world. This is my reality. And on my planet and in my kingdom, in my queendom, in my reality, I get to decide. So I had a client. Oh my gosh, he was just divine. He would come to me a couple times a year for many, many years. And if you've ever heard me talk about unicorns, he was the one. He looks like a Canadian Mountie, like chiseled face, perfect body, really like super, one of those men who is really straight and narrow, that you would never expect. He was so woo-woo because he was so, I'm a good man and I'm taking care of my wife and my family and I'm doing everything the right way and I'm following the rules and I'm a good person. He was very, very attached to those rules. And yet he was also very attached to his spiritual awakening. So what happened to him? We had a session and he went to a past life where he was a king. And it was a very typical kind of, European medieval looking king thing. There was a castle and a bunch of land and whatever. And we never went in the castle. I can remember it really vividly right now. The minute that we got there, I saw it and we were standing pretty far outside the castle. And there's the castle on the hill. And he's just standing there surveying the land. And the first thing I felt was the love radiating from this being. This was what we would call a beneficial ruler. He cared about the greater good. He cared about the good of the whole. Not, ooh, I'm a ruler, I'm a big dude, I'm going to take all the money, I'm going to make the people of this place give me all their money and suffer, I'm going to go wage wars because I just feel like fighting with people. Like all that shit that we think a ruler does is not. That's an out of control person who has absolutely no spiritual and emotional maturity and doesn't give a shit about anyone. We're not talking about that. So after that, we understood this part of his personality, right? And for me, I got to experience it because I go with you. I'm a shaman. So I go in, I'm a shaman. I'm a shaman. And I go in with you and I see what's happening and I can feel it. And I could feel that. And that was the moment that I understood what it meant to be a sovereign, beneficial, loving, heart-centered ruler. And that's what we're talking about. You get to design what that is. You're going to discover as you say, okay, I want to reclaim my power. I mean, this is a common conversation now. Reclaim your power, reclaim your voice, reclaim this, reclaim that. Don't let other people decide for you. Well, we have to unhook from the reality we've created. We have relationships that are already there. We have certain circumstances, jobs, and things that are there. So as you are shifting, you want to be this beneficial, loving ruler. Now, I want to make something very clear. Yes, 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 yes. I know she's tapping me like, okay. A beneficial ruler thinks of the greater good, but I am not telling you, we are not telling you, thank you, sweetheart. We are not telling you to give up your desires, your purpose for everyone else. We're saying that when you have a loving intent and you accept your role as the leader who has the wealth, the influence, and the power to do anything, to make the rules, to make the choices. That's a beneficial ruler. You can have the money, you can have the power, you can have the voice, you can have the choice, you can have the support. Think about everything that a king or a queen has. They have what we would call servants. They have a big house, right? They're not cleaning the floors. They're not driving themselves around, probably, right? They have support. So how does that look for you? I'm not telling you like, go get all that stuff. I'm saying, look at the concept. Because I know I was raised in the Midwest where I was told to work hard and suffer and never think I was good enough, but to strive to be good enough, but never, ever, ever get to keep it. And so that's a treadmill of a hamster that is always trying to be good enough, but I already am embedded with the idea that I'm never going to be good enough. Well, you can't be a ruler if you refuse money, if you feel bad about receiving money, about someone paying you, about somebody hiring you, about somebody giving you money, about someone supporting you. If you've got a whole story in your head, like, oh, I have to do it myself. Talk about that, right? Independent. I have to do it myself. I have to do it myself. I have to do it myself. Boy, Spirit has come into my life several times and knocked me on my ass to teach me that lesson. Stop doing everything for yourself. In fact, the minute you stop doing it, yes, you have to take action. You're the only one who can make the choices. You're the only one that can make the decisions, but you don't have to do it all yourself. And that's, again, this thought, like, begin to create that new identity of being a sovereign being within you. Now, the other thing is I want to share is that this is true for other cultures, but for the Maya, the ancient Maya, their rulers, they had an incredibly equal society. Women were equal to men. Priestesses were equal to priests. Everybody was trained to be a priest or priestess to a certain degree because they knew you were divine and human from the day you were born. They looked at your birth chart the day you're born or day after you're born, and everybody gathers around and they say, okay, this is who this person is. This is what they came here to do. We need to support them. And nobody says, you need to be a doctor because I want you to be a doctor. You need to go to the military because I want you to be a military. Stop doing that. I don't like you doing that the way that for some reason we raise people in the northern Western cultures, you know, like I'm the one that gets to decide for you. I don't give a shit what you like. I don't give a shit what you want. I don't give a shit what your design is, your makeup is. I don't even want to look at your astrology chart to know what your strengths and weaknesses are. I'm just going to judge you, tell you you're good enough or not good enough, love you or not love you, and say, you know, keep going out there. We have literally no soul and spiritual guidance going on in our culture, the way I was raised. Anyway, maybe that's changing. I hope it is. So the ancient Maya, the women were equal to the men. They could get married. They could get divorced. They could just pick up their stuff and say, I'm done. They don't have to prove why they wanted a divorce. They didn't have to suffer through somebody stalking them and attacking them and accusing them. This was not allowed. You got to leave with all the shit you came in with. You just went, okay, I'm done. And you took all your stuff and it was all equal and everybody supported you. When you are a ruler, you have the money. Okay. So what if you changed your entire perception of yourself? That, well, of course the money's there. I don't need to go freaking out about it. It's just, it's there. I have to be supported to do this, to create a world, to create a kingdom, to create a queendom, create a reality. Of course I'm supported. The money's there. Of course the people are there. Of course it is. My word. What do we think of a ruler? A word. I decree this, and now this is true for the world. I ask for this support. I always remember Ford, I think it was, Cars, that guy. Somebody put him on trial. They literally took him to court to accuse him of not knowing everything. I don't even understand what this was supposed to prove, but they were like, do you know how a carburetor engine works from here to there? What's the engineering of that? I don't know. They asked him all these weird questions. And he sat on the stand and said, no, I don't know that. I have engineers who know that, and I have buttons on my desk, and I push a button, and that person comes in when I need that information. Why on earth would I fill my head full of all that information? I have experts who know how to do that. I need to be the guiding force. I'm the visionary of this company. I have other shit to do, right? I have to be the center point where the people are coming to me, and you're the same. You don't need to know it all. You need to know it's all there at your fingertips. So as a ruler, you have the voice, you have the power to speak inwardly or outwardly. What's your inner conversation doing, right? Of the truth that you want. The support can show up. And I'm not just talking in the physical world, because of course it will come that way, but you do that within you. Then the spirit comes, then the spirit opens the doors, then the spirit interacts you with somebody who has the perfect answer for you. That's just the way it works. It's normal. It's not magical. It's not rare. Now, the other thing that the Maya did was, the kings and queens, the people who ruled, so to speak, the priestesses, were versed in spiritual travel, astral travel. They had to be priest kings or priestess queens. They could not just sit on a throne and eat a bunch of meat and go to war and screw a bunch of people, okay? That's what we got from Europe. That is not a ruler. That is a dictator, right? That is somebody who's self-centered and doesn't care about the greater good of all. Okay, whatever, dude, right? So here, what did they do? They had to learn how to access higher realms of consciousness. They had to go through the initiations to become a mystery school person. They had to be able to go out and travel to dimensions. They had to know what the universe was doing, what the weather was doing, what the stars were doing. They had to prophesize what was coming. We see that our culture is going to end. When the Spanish came, they knew that. They knew that way in advance. But they knew that because the kings and the queens would access divine knowledge and bring it in for the greater good of the kingdom. And what does that mean for you? That means you have to learn to access divine knowledge. You have to be a spiritual leader as well as the ruler of your own choices in your physical life. All right. And you have to change to believe that you have access to these things. Okay, good. Hi, my sweetie. Okay, let me look here because Guinevere is going to come through now. I had 2 activations. Oh, good. Hi, Gracie. Good. Well, have fun, sweetie. Love you. Thank you for this confirmation today. Lisa Cat says, I was in a spiritual process this morning, and it came through that an old betrayal wound that was still in need of healing. And once I acknowledged it, I realized it was my choice if I kept reliving it. Yes. Or let it completely go by making choices to liberate myself from that pain or replaying the betrayal. Exactly. I can free myself by leaving those that harm me and allow my inner light to heal me from within. 100%. And once you change this within, there's a little bit of a shift in your life, right? Because you've been living a certain way. You've been attracting a certain type of person. The people around you are expecting you to act a certain way. So when you change, things fall apart, things get weird, people don't like it, whatever, there's a shift, but that's okay. Because as soon as you maintain that inner knowing that no one can betray you, that the only thing that means is that you have an experience of betrayal and you're carrying it with you. But if no one can betray you because it's all a reflection of you, that means that there's something within you that's betraying you. And then you can go into that and you can let that go as something that creates your reality, right? So having the idea that you can do this, all these aspects, is very important. That's step 1. Now Guinevere's like, let me talk, let me talk. No, she's actually being very elegant right here. Okay, I'm going to say that. Oh, wow. Vortex, sun just spinning, 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 spinning. Okay. The other thing is what we talked about in the beginning, the ruined reputation. What is the truth? If you've ever, like me, tried to decode ancient mysteries or sacred sites, and you go to them and they tell you stupid things, the Mayans never sacrificed anybody. They never cut anybody's head off. You didn't play a ball game and have to have your head cut off. None of it is true. 100%. I can unequivocally say it now. I've believed it and known it for a very long time, but now it's been confirmed. So these things that were thought and misinterpreted in any aspect from people who came, conquered cultures, right? Or went to war, and one king took over queen for the other one dynasty or kingdom or whatever those are called, right? So we have this all over the world. If you have to become a spiritual master to truly access your power, and you have to become a physical body master, you have to come in and say, I am here and I'm present, I'm safe, I'm powerful, no one can attack me, I know my truth. Then what people say about you and what people say to you is irrelevant. It gets like Teflon. So what's the common thread between all these sacred wise women who are popping up, screaming at me now, but talking to me now in the last month about this retreat? So the retreat we're doing with Maria is, we've got those like, wow, okay. And then the one before it is, I know I'm supposed to do the magic and go into springs and we're do all this stuff, but now this is very, very clear. And I find it fascinating because this is the year of the snake, and that's female, and that's earth energy. So what does that mean? That means bringing life force, kundalini, back into our body and staying in the body with it. Reawakening our divine truth in our womb, which is the sacred space of women. If you have any issue with you, look at your womb first. Put your hands on your womb. Love your womb. Maybe you've had some abuse and you don't love your body. Maybe you put a lot of weight on like I did for many years because you were trying to hide your power or hide your vulnerability or hide your wisdom. Anybody else act stupid when you were younger around men so that they liked you? Oh, I don't know. That was a thing when I was growing up, was like, well, let the men be the ones that know everything and act like you don't know everything. I didn't last very long at that. So Guinevere specifically, let's take a look at her story. There's many stories about Camelot and King Arthur. And when you come to Glastonbury, wow, okay, this is a place where so many earth energies meet. The ley lines only tell you where the currents go. The currents do this. We have a Michael, which is a masculine current, and Mary, that's what they called it. It's called Athena and Apollo in Greece, and it's called something else in America. It's just, but they curve and they come and they meet in Glastonbury, and then they weave together and they weave up the Tor. And at the top of the Tor, which was the Goddess Hill, which now has this tower from the Michael Monastery left, the energies actually meet right inside of that tower. And when you see it from above, you see the map of the energies, and I'll be sharing that with you on the trip. It forms a womb. So the energies wind up and cross each other, masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine. And then they come into the Tor and they form this kind of womb-like shape. And the Mary current forms that. And the Michael current comes inside. Very much, like physical, masculine, feminine. And we go up there, okay? We go into the earth. We go into the goddess's body. We go into the sacred feminine. We go to the Chalice Well, which is the Red Springs, which is the springs. There's a King Arthur's Court spring there that looks like a yoni, where the water comes down and then you can walk in it. And I'm going to do, they've been showing me these images. I saw Grace. I'm going to do these crownings. We're going to crown ourselves. We're in flowers. I brought all these flowers, and I can see this beautiful, pristine circle of flowers. And Grace was sitting in the middle of it, so anybody coming would be doing this. And this crown of light was coming. Now, whether or not I put a crown up there with flowers or something, I don't know. But this is part of the process. Is we're being called back by Guinevere and then Arthur, because we're coming into balance. So the sacred feminine has to rise in order to be balanced. We can't say, well, let's just try to balance. We have to bring it up. We are going into the White Springs, which is inside of the tour, the water, and has portals into other realms, fairy portals. And we get in the White Springs, okay? There's just all these things. And the big thing is Guinevere and Arthur are buried at the Abbey. And the Abbey is partially still there. It's a gorgeous park with apple orchards and these buildings, and there are the chakras in the earth right there inside the Abbey. And Maria showed them to us last year, and we doused them. So I know all the sacred spots there. And at the heart chakra, which was at the very center of the Abbey, when the arms went out, you know, the church was built this way, and is the heart chakra, and it is where they are buried. And so this is about true love, soul love, not someone else completing you. You completing you, you taking your power back, you taking your reputation back. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of you. It doesn't matter what anybody has said to you about you in the past, now, or in the future. Stop giving them the power to malign you, to misunderstand you, to blame you, to erase you, to squash you, to burn you. Okay? So Guinevere, there was a story that came from France that we've all taken to that we think is the story, and it's not. There was no Lancelot, okay? There was no adultery. There was no trying to burn her at the stake for being an adulteress, ruining Arthur's kingdom. There was no, she got sent to a nunnery because she's a sucky ass woman who ruined the world. It was really, that story was romantic, yet not. How is it romantic that you betray the truth of why you're here? She came as an embodiment of divine love. She came as a divine partner in love, in perfect balance. She was raised by priestesses. She lived with nuns. She's surrounded by sacred women. She understood all the mysteries of Isis, all the mysteries of manifestation. And she came innocent. She was married because she was an arranged marriage. But the true story is that she didn't want to, and he didn't want to. And what I love about that is that they both ran away. And what did they do? Their spirits, their hearts made them meet separately without knowing this is the person I've been promised to. So they got to meet each other and fall in love. And then they realized this is the person I was promised to. Great. So the truth of them is a perfect partnership, a partnership of love. It was arranged, and yet they had the opportunity to make a choice. They were both rulers. Now, could they have gone back and said, I'm not going to marry that person? Maybe not at the time, but that is what their spirit did, their heart did, right? So she's not an adulteress. Most women in history have been called a war god or an adulteress or a betrayer. Betrayal, big one. Thank you, Lisa. And we're going to go into the other ones. Eve came forward. She's also the same way. We've given these women these horrible roles. Oh, Eve ruined everything, and now we're all living in original sin, and we got kicked out. No. She said, yeah, I'm ready for wisdom and knowledge. I want to embody it. I want to be a queen. And instead, we turn the story into she screwed everything for everybody, and she's a weak woman. That's not true anymore. Okay. I'm just sweating profusely. Oh, my goodness. Okay, So that just gives you a little bit of context specifically in the Guinevere sphere, but that's going to be coming through more. Does it matter specifically if you relate to the story? No, not really. However, we're talking about the deeper archetypes. We're talking about the mindsets, the conditioning, the beliefs that we've been given, that we've lived our life by, that then determine the reality we have. It determines how much money you make, how easy it is to make the money, how long it takes to make that money. It determines what you believe about yourself, what you go for, whether you believe you can do it. I'll tell you what, I wanted to be an actress and a singer. Can't sing for shit, but I didn't do it. I didn't even pursue it. And I've pursued all kinds of things in my life that were way out there and way weird, and nobody else knew how to do it. It's not like I didn't have the energy, but there was a part of me that was super, super not confident to put myself out in that way. So I didn't. Now, it's okay. It's just interesting to realize that I limited my expression. And that's what I don't want you to do anymore. Now, it's not about thinking, oh, why did I spend my life doing this or that? No, it's about in this moment, stepping into a new sovereign space where you get to be the ruler of your reality. You make the choices. You stop before you react. Am I reacting from an old pattern? Am I reacting to that person? Do I think they have my authority? Do I feel out of control? Am I afraid to be seen? My big one was terribly afraid to be seen. So put out there, hide, put out there, hide, put out there, hide, kind of a pattern throughout my life in one degree or another because of the constant retribution and very violent reactions that we've all had in our lives. All right. Thank you, sweetheart. So I'm going to share this and we'll go into letting Guinevere give us a message. So I'm not sure how many times that these beautiful goddesses will come to share with us between now and September. However, I really recommend that if you want to come to the retreat, if you feel called to this, if you're ready for that activation, this is a portal, like I told you, with all those energies at that particular place, with these other divine energies coming in, and what we're going to do, channel, and then prepare for the full moon, going to these sacred sites, opening the portals, going into the womb with Maria. It's transformational. All right, Guinevere. I'm so in love with this graphic. Chris made this. Thank you, my honey. He made this last year. I had him make a bunch of Guinevere's for me last year. She started talking to me last year when we were getting ready to go there. So the power of forgotten queens and the lost lineage. So now, because Avalon is Glastonbury, that's Avalon was the name for it when it was a goddess center. And we're going to reclaim power, beauty, wisdom of these forgotten queens. And that's what we're doing here. So what is interesting is, like we've talked about, the romanticized legends or the blame, right? But she was trained in love, leadership, and the sacred arts. And she's the guardian of the heart because Avalon is the heart chakra of the planet. So when you go there, you can't help but heal your heart. But remember, when you go there, it's very, very powerful. This isn't like, oh, I'm just going to go there and be loved. You can dance down the street in your goddess gowns and wear your fairies and have your wands and go to all the amazing shops and buy your crystals and come into the goddess house where we're going to do some of our healing. And you can do all of that. And I want you to. And I want to tell you, though, but that isn't the key. This is where paradise on earth is. Chalice Well is a peace garden. And it is one of the most exquisite places I've ever been. And she's rising again. She as in everything, right? The she. So this was one of the graphics that Chris made of Guinevere. I have many of these of her in her initial innocent princess phase. So I just want to share that real quick with you. I shared this with the class the other day, even though I was making it for this, that her inner self-image at this point, right, was she was trained. She was young. She was trusted. She was also a bit sad because her life was decided for her. Yet she had that innocence, that purity, that inexperienced yet hopeful sense. Doubtful, but magical, right? Beautiful, brave. But her voice is very small, very much watching people acquiescent, being more the princess than the queen. After time happened, shit happened, right? This is who she became. Strong. She might still be embodying pain and loss. You can see that grief in her eyes. But a true embodiment of your divine power of a sacred feminine is not denying and pretending that grief and death and betrayal hasn't happened. It's acknowledging that that's all part of the kaleidoscope of life and holding it within in a place that it empowers you, that it strengthens you, that it motivates you to move forward, to be a loving force on the planet so that that suffering doesn't have to continue. That you're not going to embody the suffering and embody the trauma and pass it on to your kids and pass it on to everybody and blame everybody in your life and act mad at your life and be grumpy all day long because you don't feel good and take it out on everybody else. That's not a sovereign person. You don't ever project that on other people. So as the strong embodied regal ruler, the Queen Guinevere, she has that inner self-image of resilience, strength, courageousness. She's experienced, detached. That's a quality of a cat. Sovereign, mature, spiritual power, unwilling to surrender to others' opinions. Now, that doesn't mean you argue with people. That doesn't mean you create conflict. It just means you have your own opinion and you follow it. You don't have to fight with people. That's your life now, if that's what's happened. That used to be my life. Determined, on mission, dedicated to purpose, turns pain into power, and her voice has risen. Her voice has risen. So the power of embodying this is beyond belief. But this is the embodiment of a woman's soul who was blamed, misunderstood, possessed, controlled, disempowered. And this is what we're here to heal. This is not necessary anymore. No matter who it is in your life or who you know about, women or men, but women across the planet at any age, we are here now to say that this is a sacred, feminine rising of voice, independence, authority, and power. And the sovereignty of that goes to a child of 1 minute old to a woman of 150. There is nobody depending on, does not matter your social status, your house size, your car size, what country you came from, what color your skin is, none of it matters. We are here to embody that for everyone and to shed, to hold everything that we feel has happened to us and rise anyway. Turn that, compost that into power, into love, into voice, into choice. Because guess what? If everyone else is in pain, if everyone else is lost, if everyone else hasn't been using their voice, if all of that is going on for everybody, and we've been doing this for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years, then if you are the one that suddenly stands inside yourself and you say, yeah, the mother knows that children die and are born. She knows that we're eternal. It doesn't take away the sadness that her child died. I wish my daughter Jordan was here. I wish I could go out with her. I wish I could hold her. I wish I could hug her. I'm not happy that she's dead. But I also had to get to the point was if I'm going to stay alive, I'm not going to live from that wound. I can't live from that loss. I have to live with that loss inside of me and let it become my strength, my compassion. Let it give me a new way of understanding the pain people go through and be the salve for that. So you don't have to agree with anything anybody has said about you or anything you've said about yourself. And this is Guinevere now. So I think she's going to start coming through because it's getting very, very different inside of me now. So she says that, you know what, you may have been given some kind of an identity in your life and you just don't feel like anymore that it's true, or you feel like it's holding you back. You may have been told that you can't make money or that nobody will want you or that you're not good enough. And you have had childhood of being adored and being denied, of being controlled and being possessed, and being told that you could do something and being let to do what you want, and then suddenly being told, no, you have to do what we want you to. You no longer have that freedom. And she says, oh, do you want to just take over, sweetheart? Okay, no. She says that, wow, that was very powerful. She says that when you drop out, we just fell out of a bucket of sand, like a little girl's sand bucket, just went poof. Like we're just sitting in the sandbox now. We're just sitting here. We're on the tour. There's flowers all over. Where are we going? To the child. Yes, thank you. We go to the child. We go to the child. We go to the child now. We go to the child deep within, because the child holds the dreams and the child holds the seed. And the child says, I'm here full of promise. I'm here with a purpose and I know it. And I'm excited to be. And there isn't the wounds at the present. That is at the very center of your heart. You drop now because as a child, the powerlessness began. You didn't have a choice, money, influence, respect, or a say. And maybe you were like me. You were destined onto a path of royalty within a country and a community. So you were cared for, you were respected, but you were feared. You were misunderstood. You were not seen as an independent, creative, beautiful being who had your own mind. You were seen as something that came to fulfill a role. You were seen as something that filled a role for others, but it was a doorway. I love my life as Guinevere. I have no interest in abandoning her because she has made an impact on the world. Who I became, and all the lies and all the truths that were hidden, and all the lies that were told, and all the confusion. And even in those times of very deep darkness, we created Eden. We created Eden. That was the seed within me. I know. Go back to your seed. Sit with me in the flowers on the top of the beautiful tor. Feel the sun coming down upon you. Smell the flowers. Listen to the bees and the butterflies. This is May. May in Camelot. May in Avalon. We are sitting. A very, very, very beautiful day. There's a gorgeous blanket laid out. As you look around, you see there's a picnic basket. There's some goblets. There's things laid out around you. You see in the distance some beautiful women dancing, chasing butterflies, holding hands and spinning in circles, picking flowers, wandering about. You can see and sense that there are those of authority that are watching, that are assigned to keep you safe, to make sure that you don't run away, do anything that's not acceptable. So cared for, carefully curated, yet not seen. Carefully cared for, dressed, fed. There's no need to worry about your essentials, your foundation, or your strength. When you are sovereign, that is taken care of. But what have you been told you had to give up for that security? As we sit here with Guinevere, very young, watching the energies, Merlin is standing behind us. Merlin and Vivienne, the divine spiritual guides for Guinevere, for you, for me. It was so important to save, to protect, to honor the sacred feminine wisdom. And this was one of those rare moments in time where a portal opened and paradise was created. Love ruled. Fairness, joy, beauty, celebration, abundance, and prosperity for all. But it didn't happen the way it can happen now. It didn't last. The divine feminine faded. It was beautiful. I was so honored. I didn't understand I was carrying such a big responsibility. Like Morgana, my dear sister, who was trained in the deeper priestesses and who was trained to be the high priestess of Avalon. We both were blamed for betrayal. We were both blamed for being the downfall. We were both blamed. And yet, we came together in a moment where we defied those and created a beautiful, blissful life despite. But I didn't embody it. I didn't understand that I had a choice. I didn't understand. And when I was blamed, I took it on. I tried to fix it. I tried to hide. I tried to smile through the pain and the tears. I tried to show up in the royal events and stand regally But I wanted to dance and play. I wanted to be among the people. I wanted to go out and hold their hands. I wanted to go be with the meditations. I wanted to be under the full moon with the goddesses. I wanted to be in the sacredness of the wise women. I wanted to bring that to my people. I was only allowed to do some, but I did have the guidance. And today, Merlin and Vivienne ask to stand behind you once again, to be your guides in remembering the sacred mysteries of the divine feminine, of the magic, of alchemy, transmutation, traveling through time and creating a world from your heart. The love that I felt, the truth that I felt, the beauty that Arthur and I experienced on our own, outside of the eyes of the public and the hires and those around us who were so forceful and almost like imprisoners. But when we were alone, we laughed and we danced and we sang and we made up stories and we made love. And we went out under the sun and the moon in the private courtyard of our castle, and we kept weaving our love together. And that's what's in this land. And that's the truth of a sovereign being. It's not anything you've been told you were or blamed for. Even if you think you did it, even if you did something that you blame yourself for, even if you did something that someone says you hurt me, now is the time to absolve yourself, to forgive yourself, to let go that in some way it was wrong. It just was. It just is. What does it really mean? What was it? I never betrayed Arthur. We went to our graves, our hearts together, but sovereign and independent. He never controlled me. He never told me what to do. He never told me what I could buy. He never told me anything. He never demanded that I have sex. He never demanded that I show up for anything. He adored me. He revered me. He saw me through the mystical eyes because he too was raised in the goddess world. He too was trained in the spiritual priestess. He was given his reign solely by the mother, by the goddess. He had to go through the deepest initiation in order to be given the right to rule. And his rule was based on perfect balance of masculine and feminine, of the reality in the physical world merging with those realms of higher mind and divine feminine love. Full possibility, pure magic. When we created, the bliss flowed down the hills and across the land. People celebrated. It was a beautiful time, and it was a painful time. And that's the same as now. There's always beauty and pain. There is always loss and gain. There's always success and failure. There's always a moment of bliss and a moment of sadness. That is the realm that we live in. Do not give your power to it. Here is what I learned. I am no longer accepting, embodying, or agreeing to any of the labels that I have been given that are not true. And to be honest, almost none of them are. No one understands my wisdom, my depth. No one gives me the respect. I'm seen as beautiful or pretty or romantic or sweet or interesting. But I am a powerful woman. I am a powerful woman who holds light that can change the world. If you come, we will create love within the core of your being, and you will feel it pulsing in your veins because I've had time for this world where you exist is something powerful. And I'm inviting you to weave back to this moment with me. Come heart to heart. Come eye to eye. Let me sit with you in the sacred circle at the chalice well. Let me sit with you and give you my life. Give you my love. Open my heart. Embody you. Engulf you. Do it now. Surrender, because there is no person alive that does not have a sacred purpose, a deeper purpose, a purpose of love and light and beauty within them. No one is here to create pain, destruction, and violence. That is complete misalignment with the powers that you have. And this is a call, and this is a very strong call, because I may look pretty and I may look sweet and I may seem like a little romantic la 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 romance novel, but I am not. I am an archetype. I am a divine wise woman. I am a medicine woman. I know the arts of alchemy. I know the arts of the sacred feminine. I know the goddess arts. I know how to work with the elements. I know how to talk with the spirits. I know how to walk through realms. I know how to go through portals. I know how to travel to other dimensions. Does anyone know that? Did anyone talk about that? No. I know how to create healing potions, and I did it all the time. Arthur never needed anyone else to heal him except me and Merlin. And I became the potions master. I became the herbalist. I became the witch. I became the wise one, because that was what I agreed to embody. To be the womb that held this beautiful Camelot in a place of balance. When you hear the stories that the weather was always perfect, that the leaves would blow away without anyone having to clean them. Yes, that's me. Arthur taught me. He took me into the woods and the caves, and I went into the goddess realm, even though at first I couldn't see it. I do now, and you do. And once you realize right next to you, I'm standing, your goddess self is standing, your divine queen is standing, your mentors are standing, your truth is standing. The lives that you've lived isn't just one. I've lived many lives. I've lived lives you wouldn't even believe. I looked like a hag with a big nose and a big wart and all this. And I was like, with my potions and my cauldrons, and I was in the woods and I was creating all of this beautiful stuff. But nobody loved me. Nobody liked me because I was ugly. I got condemned. I got put out. But guess what? They all came to me. They all came to me. And then they denied they came to me. Nobody wanted to admit they came to me. Here's what I learned, and here's what's available to you right now. When you step into your sovereign self, when you reclaim, it's going to unfold in your life in a way that you can. But if you remember your heart, you remember that whether you have an Arthur in your life, it is not about him. I love him dearly. And you're going to come, and we're going to stand together, and we're going to sit together at the heart chakra of this friggin' planet, and we're going to draw that love up through our bodies, and we're going to put it into ourselves, and we're going to send it into the world, and we're going to infuse every blade of grass and every mind that is here right now, that divine love and balance is possible, is here. It's the only way, and we are going to let it shed and pour through you and through the land and into the core and into the earth energies and out to the stars and out to the stone circles and through the castles and through the churches and through your homes. Because until you own the wisdom that you have, until the sacred power that you hold, and yes, it's a sacred feminine power, and we have to say it. We have to claim it. We can't make it pretty. We can't just say, oh yeah, it's okay, it's like this, but we're going to not do that. No, we're magic. We're full of it. You are. Everyone is. Men are too. This denial, this persecution, these wounds of being not okay to own who we are and to live in a dead world with no potential. Oh, just go and do your duties. No, you're sovereign. What are your duties? Your duties are to your purpose. They're to your power, to unfolding the love, but only from love. Get into your heart. Go to the heart of yourself. Go to the heart of your home. Be the hearthstone within you. Don't let anyone else get into your hearth. Don't let anyone else in your heart. I don't mean like don't let anyone love you and don't love anyone else, but nobody needs to be in your heart. Because this is where you get confused. This is where you get emotional. This is where you get manipulated. This is where you get lighted up with gas or whatever they say. This is not the place to let other people in. The heart is sovereign. I give you the heart today. Now, I am walking with you. We are walking down the tour. We're walking down the beautiful hill. We've gathered flowers. You have them in your hands. We've made crowns of flowers. They're on our heads. We're dancing. You can feel the beautiful gowns flowing. This is some of the magic of Avalon. But where are we going? We're going to a secret and sacred place no one knows about. I'm going to take you there. We're going to enter the earth and go back to Avalon. We're going to stand there. Now you see before you where it looks like there's just an apple orchard. You notice there's an opening. There's a dark opening. We crawl inside, giggling like little girls, getting dirty, messing up our hair, messing up our dresses, scraping our knees. Oh, it smells so good in here. Deeper and deeper into the heart of Avalon, into the heart, into the goddesses. Oh my goodness, there it is. There it is. There is a glowing crystal right there. It is big, it is glowing, and it is yours. This is the mystical power of your divine sovereign self. Go get it. Look at it. It is glowing. It's covering you with mystical glowing energies. They seem to be reaching out, infusing your very physical cells. The longer you hear, the more it glows, the bigger it gets. You suddenly scoop it up. You feel as if you're holding a giant glowing boulder of crystal light. It's glistening, different colors and rainbows are coming out of it. You see beings moving in it. It's a whole world of itself. And now it's bigger than you and bigger than you. And now you simply let go, surrender. And it infuses and merges down with you and your body, all the way down into your womb. The Avalon priestesses are chanting deep in the earth, the 9 Morgans, the Lady of the Lake, the Fae people, the long-skulled queens, the rulers, the medicine women, the priestesses, the astronomers, the architects, the engineers, the women have filled every role and in sacred times revered for it. Their chants, their calls, their voices are vibrating the earth around you. And this cave is now becoming a vibrating, luminous sphere of light. Everything is holding you in sacred space. And you, yes, are held and revered, honored and supported, and seen as a queen, seen as a ruler, seen as sovereign, respected, honored, loved, not feared. Embody this, let it sink into you and become a part of you. And let it change your DNA and the pathways with which you think. Let it shift your mind and open new vision. Let your fingers and hands tingle with the magic that you know, the wisdom rising within you. Declare, I am sovereign, beloved. I'm in my heart of hearts, on my path of my soul, divinely supported like a queen. Everything I need is here at my fingertips. Support, love, answers, guidance, energy, healing, anything. It is done. and it is here, and it is all for me. So I leave you now here, but we are here together. I will call for you again. If you let me, I will come in my dreams. We will sit together. We will be children together and play. We will be goddesses and priestesses together and raise high magic on the moon. We will heal with flowers, and we will bring love and joy through the embodiment of divine, balanced love. All forms of love. Mother love, sister love, romantic love, love of my body, love of this sacred moment, love of the place, love of all who I have been and all who I can be. And now in this moment, I leave you. But this moment is always here. Remember that we are here. Remember that you are here. Remember that you would not be hearing this right now if you had not come to be empowered. And it is time. And I thank you. Glow and enjoy and dream with this. And I will see you. I will crown you. I will guide you, and I will hold your hand, and together we will walk the merry current, and we will go and we will speak with Mary Magdalene at her church, and we will come to the heart chakra, and we will go into all the labyrinths, and we will go into the springs, and we will go into the orchards, and Eve will come, and we will call Morgana back from her condemnation, and we will walk hand in hand and heart in heart with you through Avalon, so that the world may once again find this love within themselves and remember that they are sovereign no matter what or where they are right now. The beauty of love is divine, luminous, and moves through your veins. It has never been gone. It's only been polluted. Pure. Purify. And ask the waters. Drink them, bathe in them, wherever you are. Talk to them. They remember. They know. Ask them to draw in the energies from Avalon, White Springs, Red Springs. Draw in these energies into those waters that you drink where you are. And we raise our chalice together in this circle of lost, hidden, forgotten queens, rulers, and wise women. We are here. We have come. It is done. Thank you. Wow. So, thank you. All right. So I'm going to go lay down. I'm spinning like a crazy woman. That was so beautiful. I'm going to stay inside of this. I'm going to stay with this glowing quartz crystal type energy just radiating through me with these waves, very luminous, like a crystal, in the light. So the lost lineage, I think we'll be talking about, because that's you and me. We've lost the lineage of the divine women, the wise women. We've lost the lineages of the matriarchs and the mothers. We've done so many things in our cultures to demean, disempower this. And it isn't a fight, because the divine feminine doesn't fight. It loves, it accepts, creates. So this is the time. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for embodying this. Please share this with everyone you know. Let them go through this. Let them remember. Help them to remember. Whether they understand it or not, it doesn't matter. We are all here to support each other. And when I activate my light, you activate your light, it's stronger. More people can tune into this. And we offer this beautiful experience as the circle is now open yet unbroken, into the Akasha, into the divine realms, that it is available there now for everyone who wishes to reclaim their divine sovereign power, their mind, their emotions, their decisions. You have all of this, and you are one of the lost lineage. Thank you for being here. And please come, please join me. Please join me at the retreat. Please let me know if I can support you in any way to get there. If you have any questions, and wow, have a beautiful day. All right. Namaste.